In the studios, we've got someone who's going to define it in the best possible way. Welcome to Dad Talks. My name is Tarun. This is in partnership with our friends at Baby Shop, your one-stop parenting destination. Here on City 1016, we are talking about something which is crucial not just for us, but obviously when it comes to the kids, it is the foundation, it is the base of their journey ahead. And that, my dear friend, is nutrition. In the studios, we've got Krishma Karani. Thank you so much for taking your time out and coming down.
Thanks for having me, Tarun.
Now, Krishma, before we start, I want people to know, why are you qualified to talk about this, please?
So I'm a certified prenatal and baby nutritionist, and I've done my master's in food science and nutrition, and I've been doing this since 12 to 13 years. I don't think I know anything else. Let's just put it that way.
And I'm so happy that you're here because we need this kind of expertise and advice.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm a father to a 9-month-old daughter. You are a mother to a 4-year-old son.
That's right.
So your journey has been incredible because you deep dive into this entire subject because of that. Let's start off with question number 1. How important is nutrition in today's time when it comes to the kids?
So I feel there's a lot of stress and pressure on parents and on kids when it comes to nutrition. I feel my job is to make everybody more relaxed about not putting so much pressure about nutrition. What I will strongly say is, to sum up good nutrition, is to have a variety of foods throughout the week and make sure that you eliminate processed food. If you get that done, honestly, you don't have to be stressed about nutrition. Let's just put it that way. It's the easiest way I can tell you.
That's quite simplified and I love it. Now, let's deep dive into a bit.
Of course.
When it comes to kids, basically, for example, someone has just become a mother right now. We'll start from the shuru se shuru karte, basically. So, obviously, when it comes to the mother's feed, it is the most powerful food in the world. Unfortunately or fortunately, there are so many moms who can't feed because they have to go back to work, or perhaps for some medical reasons they can't feed. In that particular scenario, what is the other option?
So formula milk is the other best option if the mother cannot feed breast milk. It is completely okay, completely acceptable. We often see parents asking, can we move to goat's milk or cow's milk completely as a complementary to breast milk? That is completely unadvisable because it will actually create an electrolyte imbalance in babies. So formula milk is the second best option after breast milk. Do we have the best formula brands in UAE? Yes, we do. There's a lot of controversy based on people are like, there's a lot of seed oil. We don't like the quality, but it is the second best to breast milk. There's nothing else at this point that comes closer to that. So yeah.
Talking about the kind of milk, what do you prefer as a nutritionist to give to your own child? Would it be cow's milk or would it be goat's milk?
I give camel's milk.
You did cow milk?
I don't do cow's milk. I do camel milk.
You do camel milk, or there's third kind of milk, okay.
Oh yeah. In terms of breast milk or regular?
In terms of early feeding.
Early feeding. Oh, early feeding, goat milk is much better.
Goat milk is much better. The earlier phase, because we are starting from the scratch.
Yes.
Say from first month to 12 months, goat milk is better as a substitution?
No. So goat milk formula is okay.
Formula.
Yeah, that is the best. After that is cow's milk. See, cow's milk also is very difficult to digest for a lot of babies. So then there are more simplified and assimilated formulas that you will see.
Okay.
But better than that is goat's milk.
Okay. Now we are past the 12-month stage.
Correct.
Actually, no. Now we're past the 6-month stage.
Okay.
Now, this is the time when you introduce semi-solids and solids, correct?
Right.
Is this the right age?
It is the right time.
What is the right way to go about with that when it comes to the nutrition? What kind of food should be given to the kids?
Okay. So, I often see parents starting either with lentil water or fruit purees or vegetable purees. That is what they often begin with. But the most important reason why we start solids at the 6-month mark is because a baby's iron requirement exceeds an adult male's iron requirement.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so a baby at 6 months of age will need 11 mg of iron, and an adult male will need only 8 mg of iron. So that is the primary reason we have to introduce solids. So the focus has to be iron-rich foods, not fruit purees, not dal ka pani, not vegetable purees. So that is not the way to go about it. But one thing, Tarun, we have to remember is that the baby's first year breast milk or formula milk has to be the primary source of nutrition. Food is actually only a complementary addition. The moment the baby turns 1 year old and becomes a toddler is when food will become the primary source of nutrition, and breast milk can become a secondary or a complementary addition.
So that would be supplement. Rest, the food would be the main.
Yes, that is
at
after
1 year mark.
After 1 year mark, correct.
Okay.
But before that, what I often see is that the moment the baby turns 6 months old, mothers want to start reducing their breast milk. Means they would want to give
Weaning
them.
off, yeah.
They want to start weaning off. They want to give them less breast milk and rely on more solids and more purees. Unfortunately, that's actually the wrong way to go about it, because the amount of nutrition, calories, and absorbable iron that is there in breast milk, nothing else is going to pass on to the baby at that point.
Okay.
So 6 months is when you give complementary addition of iron-rich foods. That is the main focus.
Continuing with this.
Yes.
So Krishma, what are the top 3 iron-rich food that you can give to a child between 6 to 12 months of age while you're giving them breast milk or formula milk?
So the number one is any organ meat or organ liver. Chicken liver works well, lamb works really well, bone marrow works really well, because the top sources of iron come from animal meat and animal protein. Now, if you're looking at the vegetarian sources, you will have non-heme iron. That's when you will actually look at lentils. Any kind of lentils are fabulous sources of iron for a baby.
Okay. Are dates also good when it comes to this? Should we be giving dates to kids who are of that age or no?
So dates are not highly recommended because it's extremely concentrated in sugar. So that also plays an important role. So you have to make sure that the sugar content is as limited as possible. I would introduce dates after 7 to 8 months, and that also half a date at the most. But it's not going to do much for the baby.
Okay. Okay, now we have passed the 6 to 12 month stage,
Right.
where the iron was pushed really highly.
Correct.
And now we are at 12 months mark.
Right.
How do we proceed from this when it comes to the pediatric and child nutrition?
Okay, so the moment the baby becomes 1 year old on his first birthday, his calcium requirement increases a lot. It increases to I think up to 700 mg of calcium a day. And their breast milk intake has reduced a lot as well, because they're eating more meals. They're eating 3 to 5 meals a day. So that's when iron comes into a very big play. So vitamin D3 and iron will work really well, along with protein. These are the 3 things you have to keep in mind that the baby is consuming during the day.
And what about the calcium intake in this with vitamin D3 and iron and protein?
So calcium intake, dairy plays the most important role. But for whatever reason, if you are not comfortable giving your child any kind of dairy, or your child is allergic or is sensitive or is intolerant, then there are other sources as well. If you have fish, then canned salmon and tuna work really well.
Canned, you're saying, is that fine to give?
Yeah.
With the preservatives inside?
No, you'll get cleaner brands as well.
Okay.
You'll get cleaner brands, but otherwise fish with bones work really well. Bone broth, excellent. Moringa, very good. Drumsticks also work really well. Tofu, black sesame seeds, tahina. We get so much tahina here. So these are great sources of calcium as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So, we have seen this in our surroundings. Let it be a cow, let it be any other animal, they stop their feeding to the child when the child has grown to a certain age.
Correct.
And it is only in humans, it is said that हम लोग दूध पिलाते रहते हैं बच्चों को.
Correct.
भले वो गाय का हो या गोट का हो या camel का हो.
Right.
Is it advisable to do that in a longer run?
Do you know that we have something called the 4th trimester? Okay, the 4th trimester is when the baby is born. Okay, every other mammal, once the baby is born, they start walking. We are the only mammals where we don't walk. We need assistance in walking. We have to wait for 12 months because we have not grown optimally. Okay, so when it comes to having milk from cow or camel or goat, there's nothing wrong in that, because we as human beings still need animal sources of nutrition. We cannot rely purely on a plant-based diet. I know it's very controversial. We have opted a plant-based diet because of the consciousness of the environment, of certain religious beliefs, certain intolerances. I understand that. I'm a vegetarian as well. But you have to be prepared to supplement properly if you have opted for a vegan lifestyle. So we cannot thrive by being vegan from a very young age. You do need some kind of animal protein. Like I said, there are a lot of different reasons why we opt for it. I have full respect for that. Please follow it, but then just make sure you're supplementing well.
Yeah, because when you said that all the other mammals are, doing that and they start walking early.
Yeah.
And then I was in my head thinking that, yes, we are the most complex kind of mammal
Yeah.
there is on this planet.
Yeah.
So perhaps we need a lot more
Yeah.
when it comes to the supplementation to functioning this properly and
Yes.
growing properly.
Yes.
When it comes to now getting back to the nutrition aspect of
Yes.
it, how many times you should feed a child in a day? And what do you think is the right approach to do it? Do you, like we as parents, we have chosen that we'll keep the plate in front of Alana.
Right.
And she'll eat whatever she wants from it.
I love
we
that.
We don't feed her that.
That's exactly the way it should be.
Okay.
You know, when the baby is drinking milk from the mother's breast, the mother understands when the baby is full.
Yeah.
Right? It's a natural way, and the mother knows.
Yeah.
But the moment we introduce solids, we expect the child that we will control how much you're going to eat.
Yeah.
So if you don't finish that last bite of the sabzi or the chicken or the roti, then please just have one more. Please just have one more. It actually ruins their appetite, and you are actually paving a way for a picky eater in the future because you're not allowing the child to regulate their own appetite. And trust the child and respect the child's wishes when they say, my mealtime is done. Because if every single day you might not eat the same portion of food, just think of your child the same way, that yesterday she had an entire banana, why isn't she having one today? Like, let's just give her something else, as if our child is going to starve to death. That doesn't happen that way. So respect the child at that point, and what you're saying and what you're doing is the best way. You put the food in front of the child. What I'll really encourage is sit with your child, eat your meal with your child, because they will model your behavior, your habits. There are a lot of things that parents come and ask that my child is not eating a lot of vegetables. But are you eating vegetables with your child in your meal? If your meal comprises of less vegetables, you cannot expect your child to learn the same.
Yeah,
So
you have to learn by example, and you have to set the example right.
they are learning to become human beings looking at us. So if we are not setting the example, then what else is the child going to learn?
Hi, sabziyan khani padengi. Okay, moving on. So let's now in the 0 to 2 years mark
Right.
we've reached. What do you think is the right time to introduce salt and sugar, if there is a right time to introduce it?
Yes, so salt can be introduced after the baby is 1 year old. Having said that, before one, if a child decides, if you want to give a small bite of your meal to a child which has little bit of salt, there's no need to panic. It's completely okay. Once in a while, it doesn't matter. What you really have to focus on is low sodium rich foods more than salt. But salt can be introduced in their meals from the age of 1. Salty food you have to be careful of. Canned soups, canned sauces, salty cheeses, deli meats. These are the ones that have a lot of sodium content. Also packaged foods, chips, which a lot of people give or people succumb to sometimes.
Really?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah.
Please don't do that to your kids. Thank you. And what about sugar?
Sugar should not be given to a child before the age of 2, for sure. No sugar derivatives. And no jaggery. Oh my God. Oh, jaggery has so much iron. It is 90% sugar. It has not more than 5% of minerals, quite frankly. So the only sugar I will recommend to add to your child's diet is maybe date sugar. But that also after 18 to 20 months of age, not even before that.
So date sugar is different, but giving dates, half a date, 1 date
That
is
is fine. That is fine.
Okay.
So fruits is a great way to naturally add sweetness to your child's meal. So if you want to give your child porridge and you want to give them something sweet, so mash a banana and you can give, it's fine.
That's fine.
That's
okay.
fine.
Now, Alana is going to be turning 1 in July, and it's her birthday.
Oh, wow.
And my parents were saying that cake to katna padega, cake to khilana padega, and cake has sugar.
Yeah.
So वो करना चाहिए, because a lot of parents go through this कि यार एक बार खिला देते because birthday है, इसके बाद हम 1 साल तक नहीं खिलाएंगे.
That's fine. See,
That's
you have
fine.
to keep...
The tradition and the rituals.
It's not about tradition and rituals. It's about keeping things into perspective that you would regret not doing that. Or you make a healthy cake and you give your child. If make a cake using banana, using applesauce to sweeten it, because the child is not going to taste
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
What it's you who want to eat it.
So that is a better option.
Yes.
Banana or apple juice, which is
Applesauce, yeah. Banana, applesauce, maybe a date paste, a little bit here and there, it's fine.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
chalo, theek hai. We have an option then.
Yes.
Now, is sugar, even after 2,
Yeah.
the devil or the chaos that it's deemed to be?
Okay. What is really deemed to be is ultra-processed foods, okay? And the sugar found in ultra-processed foods. According to most of the World Health Organizations, international health organizations, you will see that there is an upper limit of sugar intake that you can take, even for us, okay? So by completely stopping sugar, if it's going to affect your mental sanity, there's a way of not doing that. You can have up to 2 teaspoons of sugar per day for a child. Once the baby becomes a toddler and once he is 2 years old, that is when you can do 2 teaspoons of sugar a day at the most. But sugar is not a devil, like you're saying. It's imbalanced meals that is the devil.
Okay.
Okay, when meals are not balanced is when you're actually creating more issues for your child. And when you're repeating the same food again and again, that is when you're actually creating a negative eating pattern. It's something like when you see your child thrive or eat well, a part of you makes you really happy. Oh my God, you know. Now what happens, we associate that and we make them feel that it's a reward. Oh my God, you've completed a meal. You've done such a good job. You have to be so neutral about it. You cannot actually be using any kind of reward, cheerleading, or even add pressure. That is the real devil at that point, because the most important aspect about nutrition is good relationship with food. And that starts from 6 months of age. So between 6 months to 2 years is when you'll start giving them good habits. And picky eating usually begins from 2 to 4 years of age, when you see that toddler phase that come along. Terrible twos.
Yeah.
Exactly. But sugar is not the devil. Ultra-processed food is the devil. It's the negative connotations related to food and the pressure that you're putting your child. Yes, if you are making a banana cake and giving it at home and you're giving it once every 3 days, it's okay. Because the child still understands that this is normal. See, you are eating it as well. So when you are eating it and the child is not getting, the child's like, what is this? Exactly.
No,
and they want to feel equal, right?
Yeah.
They want to be like us. So they want to follow everything we do. We're their biggest cheerleaders, we're their biggest role models. So if their role model is eating that cake, then why can't they eat it?
Okay.
So I understand that sugar is the devil, but इतना भी खराब नहीं है जितना सब लोग बोलते हैं. हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर डालते हैं बच्चों पे, and we expect a lot from them. But yeah, I think it's more important that we focus on a holistic meal, give them a lot of flavors and textures from early on to ensure that they can decide for themselves when to reach out for that sugar.
It's a very good point, because that was my next question. When it comes to the conditioning of the body, see, we come from India. I have grown up जहाँ पे हम लोग अगर टेनिस की बॉल पानी में गिर जाती थी पास में, जहाँ पे गंदा पानी बह रहा है, हम उसको 3 बार टप्पा खिला के पवित्र कर देते थे कि चलो अब खेल सकते हैं हम वापस से, right? And that's the kind of environment that we've been brought up in.
Right.
Now we live in Dubai, right? Everything is processed, everything is clean.
Yeah.
And our conditioning is very different. Now if I go to India and drink the normal water, I'll get food poisoning. I know it for a fact because I got it last year. When it comes to conditioning the child and building that strong immune system, what all need to be introduced to them to be rough and tough in this country?
Okay. So one thing that really helps is if you have a pet at home.
Oh, I do. I have as a dog.
Yeah, so that is one of the best ways to help your child's immunity. If there are siblings in the house for a child, because a sibling is going out, playing in the sand, playing in the dirt and coming home, so immediately the baby is actually getting more in touch with germs.
That we can work on in a couple of years.
So that works really well, but making sure that gut health is really good. Okay. So when I say gut health is really good, you have to ensure that some kind of fermented foods are going into their system every day or every other day. So that'll really help create a good barrier in their gut lining, which can allow their body to accept any kind of pathogens or germs and be okay. Now I'll tell you there's something called a toxic load reducing the toxic load, and there's a bucket theory that I will tell you about. Now, the bucket theory is that you take a bucket of water and you fill it to the brim, and then you add something on top, it's going to overflow. So it's the same thing with a child. If the child is not sleeping well, the child has been introduced early on to antibiotics, which also reduces your immunity. If the child has not been breastfed, it also reduces your overall immune system. If the child is not has some nutritional deficiencies, so the bucket just keeps increasing. Now, uske upar you add something that the body cannot handle, the body is going to respond.
Yeah.
Okay, but if there's only one thing, like the baby is not slept well, or the child has had antibiotics, but 2 years ago, and there's nothing else, then the child's body can accept more the water from India. Let's just put it that way. So you have to work on that. You have to make sure that the aspects are
aligned before you introduce anything.
Exactly. That is the most important
When you
thing.
talked about the fermented food, can you give me 3 options for that?
So 3 options are, one is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is like pickled cabbage.
Okay.
Very easily available. हम लोग idli is actually a great source of fermented food.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but cook होता है तो उसमें process थोड़ा कम हो जाता है of probiotics. There's something called kanji, which everybody is hearing a lot. Okay, yogurt is excellent. Okay, homemade dahi. It's one of the best ways that you can introduce.
यहाँ पे homemade दही कहाँ मिलती है? दूध ही pasteurized आता है. But anyway, like dahi normally we can
yeah,
do it, right?
normal yogurt at home. But
Yeah, Greek
normal
yogurt or...
Yeah, but Greek yogurt might not have the required...
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow,
it might not have. Because when it's on the shelf, there's a higher chance of the bacteria actually diminishing a lot. So you will find a lot of things in the supermarket as well, which are fermented. It's easily, so sauerkraut is one of the things. Kimchi is okay for us, it's not for the kid. But you can make kanji at home.
Yeah.
Have you heard of kanji?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so you can make kanji at home. That works really well.
Those who have not, can you tell them how kanji is made?
So kanji, there are different ways. One way that we make is we take rice in a mitti clay pot, and we put a little bit of water, we cover it. Next day we add a little bit of salt and we add a tadka to it, and we just have that rice. Okay. Very easy.
So that rice needs to be
fermented rice.
Fermented rice.
Fermented rice.
So when you add tadka to it, the rice is not boiled at that time?
No, it's boiled cooked rice.
So first you put the boiled cooked rice in water.
Overnight, yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah.
And then you put namak the next day.
Yeah.
And then you leave it again.
That's it, you just eat it.
Okay,
if you want to add tadka, you can add. If you don't
but
want,
not for the
fine.
kids tadka, na?
You can add. Why not?
Ghee wala tadka?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
From 6 months you can give ghee.
Ghee, yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
think we are giving ghee already. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we have crossed the 2 years mark as well.
Right.
The kids are running around. They've got a lot of energy.
Right.
And this time, obviously, we need to keep a close eye on the packaged food and sugar rush.
For sure.
So that they are not, getting zoomies and running around and
Right.
bumping into walls.
Right.
What is the right approach as a parent, now that you're a parent to a
Yeah.
4-year-old boy, I know, who has a lot of energy day in and day
Oh my
out.
God, yeah.
So is there a way that you can keep a tap on, this is your time to eat? And is there a way कि तुम्हें इतना ही खाना है, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं खा सकते हो? क्योंकि overeating, is it possible at that age?
Of course, it's possible. It's when you distract them with a lot of things, and it's when you have not started with appetite regulation from early on. Overeating is a big problem as well. But coming to how do I manage in terms of energy, you have to ensure that the timings play a very important role. There has to be a discipline and structure in terms of the timings of the food.
So
Okay?
a routine.
A routine. Kids thrive on routine. That is the most important thing. So if the breakfast is at 7 a.m., it can be 6:55 or 7:05.
But
It should
not
not be
later.
7:15. It should not be 6:30. Okay? So the first thing, because they will also have a body clock. So the food, they will actually ask for food, and the stomach acids will anticipate the amount of enzymes to release for that meal. So that is one way. The other thing is ensuring that every single meal is balanced to avoid any blood glucose spikes. So if you are giving any kind of carbohydrate rich meal, like you want to give paratha to your baby or to your child, you have to ensure that you're adding enough fat, protein and fiber to that meal. So you need to ensure that you stuff the paratha with some kind of fibrous vegetable. You need to ensure that you're giving yogurt or dal, or you're giving chicken, and you have to ensure you're cooking your food with a good quality fat, or you're giving avocado on the side.
Avocados.
Yeah, so the most important thing is blood glucose regulation. That actually will set the pace for their next meal. That will avoid overeating for the next meal. And to avoid overeating, another best thing is a snack. You have to ensure that there is a snack in between their main meals.
Which could be fruit, which could be nuts or...
Yes, so that snack also has to be completely balanced with protein and fat.
Okay.
That plays a very important role. One thing I keep seeing and parents keep asking me is about makhana. Oh, we love giving makhana. Oh, makhana is great. It has great properties, but makhana is slightly on a more carby side. So there will be a blood glucose
drop.
Yes,
and
drop.
then you would want to eat again.
Yes. So the best way to have makhana is mix it with chana, or mix it with peanuts, or mix it with some vegetables and eat it. So that way your child is ready for a next meal and is not overeating.
Basically, that brings a satiation in a way.
Exactly.
And you don't feel that hunger again.
Exactly. So satiation happens with protein and fat.
Protein and fats. Okay, that's quite an important tip for all the parents out
Yes.
there. Now, as we started off by talking about, introducing animal protein
Correct.
at 6 months mark.
Right.
You can give chicken broth, chicken liver.
Yes.
But yeah, when it comes to chicken broth, do you think the sodium level increases inside the chicken broth if
No,
we don't add salt?
if it's homemade, it's completely fine.
Okay, you just don't put salt in it.
You
and
just
you
don't put salt
boil
in
the
it.
bones and
That's it.
give that water.
That's it. Not even water. You can make it like a thick soup. There is
Okay.
nothing watery you have to give your child. You can give your child actual thick, like ketchup or soupy style texture, and it's fine. You can also mash chicken. Like take chicken, grill it, mash
Grind
it,
it,
grind
mash
it. It's
put-
completely okay.
Because they need protein and they don't have any idea of the taste because they don't have any teeth as well.
Yeah, and the first year is mainly about exploration. So, wo log, they don't associate food with hunger. They associate the mother or a bottle of milk with hunger.
Okay.
So, they don't understand in the beginning. If the child is hungry and आप उसको खाना दोगे, वो आपको गुस्सा करेगा. Like, what is wrong with you? I need milk. Like, why are you giving me this? Because there's no correlation for them at that point. So,
Okay.
they will not, they're just going to play with it. They're going to eat. They're going to take a few bites. It's fine. But don't reduce breast milk at that time.
100%. Just reiterating on the question wherein we were talking about coming from a vegetarian family.
Correct.
And respectfully so.
Yes.
May it be the religious reasons,
Yes.
may it be the consciousness of
Correct.
the planet, the environment,
Yes,
so
of
on and
course.
so forth. 6 to 2 months of age, when it comes to giving a child no chicken, no animal protein, what are the substitutes?
Dal is one of the best substitutes
Which
you
dal?
can give. Any dal.
Moong dal,
dal,
yellow dal.
rajma, black-eyed peas, tuar dal, chana, any urad dal, every single dal works really well. The most important thing is you soak it overnight for 10 to 15 hours with water and apple cider vinegar so that it's easier for the baby's gut to digest, and you don't even have to give dal ka pani. You can actually put ghee ka tadka with jeera, haldi, palak if you want, and you crush it, you strain it, and you give it to your baby, and it's fine from 6 months age.
That's very helpful. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Now, coming to a few last questions.
Yes.
What is a balanced diet comprised of when it comes to babies?
Balanced diet.
Like
but it-
name objects.
Okay. Fat plays a very important role. So every single meal also needs fat. So because their baby's brain is made of fat. So it needs DHA and fat. So ghee ho gaya, avocado ho gaya, nuts, seeds, very important. Comes to iron, it will be chicken or dal. Vegetables, it will be any kind of non-starchy vegetables from bhindi to palak to cabbage to broccoli. And any kind of whole grain carbs should be introduced after 8 or 9 months, not even before that. So rice and roti is usually given very early on. Strongly recommend the parents to wait. So as a carbohydrate, look at a starch which is from a vegetable. So pumpkin, potato, sweet potato, carrot, beetroot, they work really well. So coming to your question, the best meal is a healthy fat, good quality protein, starch and fiber. It's the same funda for us. But just ensure that the fat and iron is higher for a baby. That's it.
And that fat and iron should be higher for a baby till what age?
Till the baby, fat has to be till the baby is 5 years old, but iron till 1. And then iron again needs to be re-added and you can say it has to be important again after 4 years of age.
4 years of age. Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much for that. Now we'll get into the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Now you are a mother to a 4-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Question number 1. What is that one thing that you love and that is the most important thing on the plate for your child?
Dosa. He loves it and I love it as well. So we put a lot of vegetables in his dosa. And he loves pizza, so his pizza sauces are made from a lot of vegetables. There's a lot of grated tofu in his pizza. It's put on a roti and he's very happy. So it's a complete meal and he loves it.
Where all do you go to shop for your child?
So I go to Baby Shop, I go to Mamas and Papas, I go to Junior Couture. These are my favorites.
These are your favorites.
Yeah.
Okay. If there was one thing that you would want your child to never eat, what would that be?
Oof. I think chips and packaged food. This I have to really think, yeah. Because there are a lot of things.
Like cookies and everything as well?
My son actually doesn't like sugar so much. So I am...
Well done to you on that.
I'm really happy about it. But he loves salty things. So I have to really make sure that he doesn't reach out for chips. And chips with artificial flavoring and color. It's one thing I will really not give him.
Okay. Would you allow your child to watch television and eat?
I have done that, but I'll tell you why as well. When it comes to a social setting, and you know your child is amongst people who are going to pamper him and they're going to instigate him, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's friends, and sometimes it's his other friends who are watching TV. To just avoid the tantrum, television comes in. But otherwise, it's a complete deal breaker. Never.
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 Okay. Would you allow your child to go out and eat burgers from fast food joints or as a once in a week kind of a thing?
So, Tarun, we have to understand if I'm going to a fast food joint and eating, then it is acceptable. It has to be acceptable for me, for my son to eat. But if I'm a person who's refraining and who doesn't go to fast food joints and eat a burger, then I don't expect him to. So you have to play really well to what your child actually is exposed to. Once in a while, everything's okay. Don't ever term anything good or bad very early on because immediately there are negative connotations when it comes to food.
Now, when it comes to, unfortunately, a child being sick, top 3 things that a parent should avoid.
Top 3 things, food which is rich in sugar, then imbalanced meals, so any meal which is very high in carbs and it has absolutely no fiber and protein, and giving textures, certain textures I would say don't give crispy or crunchy texture at that point.
Should the food be avoided when the child is sick? If they are should we force feed them ki
No.
taakat aayegi, acha lagega?
No, what is the most important is hydration. Hydration is key, so give a lot of soups, a lot of liquids, a lot of purees at that time, just to ensure their tummy is okay, but don't force feed anything at that point. It's not worth it.
Okay. What are the most common deficiencies that you see in a child?
So most common is vitamin D, most common. And because of vitamin D, there's also calcium deficiency. And I see a lot of iron deficiency. Now, iron deficiency comes along in surprisingly a low socioeconomic household as well, and in a very privileged household as well. Because in a very privileged household, the child is not reaching out for iron-rich foods, so there's a lot of anemia. And in low socioeconomic reasons, because the child is falling sick quite a bit, and there's constant lack of sanitation which makes them fall sick, it depletes their iron resources quite a bit. So these are the 3 things which I feel which is pretty bad. But one thing, Tarun, I want to tell you is there's a double burden that we are facing. Because in one side, we are seeing a rise of malnourishment in nutrition deficiencies. On the other side, we are seeing a rise of childhood obesity. So, and in the same child, you're seeing deficiencies, but obesity in the same child. So that is a double whammy that we are looking at.
So how do we deal with this?
So it has to start from early on. The moment you start solids, you have to ensure that
the foundation is strong.
The foundation has to be very, very strong. That is when you take the right approach.
Okay. And when it comes to a child being athletic, a lot of we live in the fittest city in the world, I believe.
100%.
When it comes to getting into fitness, sports and everything.
Right.
What is it that should be given more? What should there be a difference in diet then? Or again, proteins and fats and fibers?
So that has to happen as well, anyways. The most important thing is calorie distribution. is very, very important because they're working out or they're playing a sport which is basically expending a lot of energy. So for that, they have to make sure every single meal is very, very nutrient dense. So by making nutrient dense, you have to add a lot of carbohydrates and fat to increase that. Protein also plays a very important role for muscle and recovery, and they need a lot of magnesium and hydration. Magnesium is for their muscle, and hydration because of electrolytes. They also need that for their bones.
And magnesium के लिए supplements की कुछ खाना चाहिए?
खाना चाहिए, बहुत सारी चीज़ें खाने के लिए.
Green dal हो गई?
Green dal हो गई, banana हो गया, chia seeds हो गया, lots of green vegetables, pumpkin seeds, excellent sauce, oatmeal. These are all great meals to give to a child who's athletic.
Okay. And what about cold drinks?
What do you mean? Define cold drinks.
Like the brands that are in blue cans and red cans. And
No. No human being should be having that. Forget our kids. No human being should be having that.
Okay.
So, and let alone the diet culture, the diet
and the
versions,
zeros.
yeah, and the zeros. Never.
Okay.
Fruit juices as well, by the way.
No.
Nothing. It's one of the worst ways to actually get your child super wired. It has to be a treat. You keep seeing your child go to a birthday party and they're offered fruit juices. It's fine because it's a treat. Just remember that.
But fruit juices at home also? Like no watermelon
fruit juices.
Okay.
Tarun, one orange will have, for example, 50 calories. Now, to make one glass of orange juice, you will need at least 4 oranges. Okay, that's 200 calories. No fiber, straight sugar. You rather have your child eat that orange.
Because it has fiber and all.
It has fiber, it has everything. You're depleting that.
And plus, पेट भर जाएगा ना फिर.
पेट भरेगा. That, and with that, the blood, literally people reach out for breakfast, we'll have orange juice with eggs and with toast. It's the worst thing you can do. For an orange.
When it comes to lunch boxes,
right.
Your son is taking them to school.
Right.
What is that thing that you put every day without fail?
So there's nothing that I put every day because we have a variety that happens. But I'll tell you one formula, Tarun, is that you get your child involved in planning the lunchbox. That is when you will see your child finish the meal. So one day before, I will ask, okay, what do you want to eat today? They will most of the times ask for something which may not be super healthy, but it's a trade and a barter. So you have to put something that they like along with something which is nutritious as well. So if my child wants a muffin, I'll make sure the muffin is made at home. I'll make sure along with that there's a protein-rich meal. It can be an egg sandwich. I don't have eggs, but it can be egg sandwich. Along with that, a fruit and something to drink. So water, coconut water and lemonade are the best things that you can give your child in a snack box.
That's amazing. Last question, and
Yeah.
perhaps quite important. We talked about everything right that we could do.
Right,
From 6 months mark to 4-year mark, 5-year mark.
right.
A lot of people who are watching this, they are parents who have missed that mark completely.
Correct.
Now their kids are picky eaters.
Yeah.
They don't want to eat, which is healthy because now they are used to the chaos in food.
Yeah.
The feel, the texture of a burger,
Yeah.
the creamy sauce, the beautiful cheese. How do we get them back?
How do we get them back? So the first thing is you have to make sure that meal times are very relaxed at home. And you have to ensure that you have minimum 1 meal a day with your child because they will model. It has to be so relaxed. There has to be no pressure put on your child. You have to offer variety whether they opt for it or no. And you have to ensure that you start increasing their meals with a little bit of iron and zinc-rich foods because these nutrition deficiencies happen because when you're reaching out for a lot of processed foods.
Okay, so iron and zinc food के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? उनके
Pumpkin
खाने-
seeds बहुत ही अच्छा है.
Pumpkin seeds और उसके साथ
Chia seeds भी बहुत अच्छा है.
वो खाएंगे उनको अच्छा भी लगेगा taste में with coconut milk or something because
It
it has
works
that
really.
flavor.
You powder it, put it in their sabzi ka gravy. It
Yeah.
works really well.
Okay.
For iron, like I said, lentils work really well
Yeah.
in a vegetarian household. Make sure their meals are balanced.
Okay.
That blood sugar balanced meals play a very important role. Once that happens, their gut automatically will feel less need to reach out for junk. Just think about us. The moment we don't have a meal for a long period of time, you will reach out for the most unhealthiest snack from a supermarket.
Yeah.
So your child is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
He will reach out for that processed food because it's a reward system.
Yeah.
That actually, a reward system gets triggered in your brain when you reach out for these additives. And start introducing, if you feel your child is a picky eater and is avoiding certain textures or food groups, start introducing probiotics for him. So a probiotic supplement. That will really help him rebalance their gut bacteria, and that'll also help them crave for less food. The other thing that works really well is when you introduce magnesium-rich foods in their diet. When you increase magnesium-rich foods, they will also crave for less sugar. So nuts, almonds, almond butter works really well, banana works really well. These foods will actually help them
Satiate and feel fuller.
no, not feel fuller. They will actually, the magnesium in them will avoid them reaching out for sugary foods. So
Wow,
when you
dude.
add even daily one dark green leafy vegetable is one of the best ways to increase magnesium in your body.
This is not just for the kids, it's for you as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But thank you so much, Krishma. It was wonderful having you.
Likewise.
And for all the awareness, for all the wisdom that we've talked about, I hope it helps all the parents.
I hope so
and
too.
the kids as well, dude.
Yes, I hope so too. It was lovely, Tarun.
Thank you so much, Krishma.
Thank you, Tarun.
City 1016.